Joining us now is Derrell Peel, our livestock marketing specialist. And Derrell, we wrapped up Thanksgiving. We're on fast forward toward Christmas. Let's kind of take a look at beef demand this time of year.
You know, this fall, prior to Thanksgiving, we saw beef wholesale values, choice box beef, move back above the $2 a pound mark. It dropped just for a couple of days right before Thanksgiving, but actually during Thanksgiving week came back up over $2 a pound. And so it's holding up pretty well. And certainly here and after Thanksgiving, there's some buying ahead. You know, beef prime rib and things have become very popular for New Year. So beef demand is holding up pretty well here through this holiday period, even though we don't think of it as a strong beef demand time.
Let's look at prices now. Some people kind of concerned that beef is going to price itself out for consumers.
You know, with the expectations we have for reduced production next year, prices are going to continue to move higher. We're already at nearly record levels at these wholesale prices. So that is a concern. At the same time, you know, people adjust. The beef industry is very complex. The beef demand situation is very complex. And so as we move to higher prices, we know there'll be adjustments. Consumers will choose different beef products. Much of that demand issue is a function of choosing between and moving between different beef products. So, you know, there's a reason to be concerned, and we certainly have to watch it as we move to probably record wholesale and retail prices next year. But at the same time, there's quite a bit of optimism that beef demand will hold up and support the pressure in the market.
Looking at competing meats, what's the situation there? And let's kind of look at pork first.
You know, obviously, as we move beef to higher prices, to record price levels, those competing meats will be important. Both pork and poultry are set to expand a bit. The pork industry has really been struggling, however, with a disease issue much of this year. They have not yet been able to get this under control. It's the PED virus, and that's still affecting things, and it's beginning to show up now as moderating some of the increase in pork production that was expected. So it will certainly reduce it somewhat, although it will still increase in the first part of next year. The other thing that's important from a beef perspective in terms of the competing meat issue is that much of that increase in pork production will likely get exported. So I don't think pork is going to add a lot to the beef industry challenge in 2014, at least not in the early part of the year. If they get the disease under control, maybe more so later in the year.
And then how about poultry? How's that going to impact the livestock markets?
You know, from a beef standpoint, poultry has been ramping up production much of 2013 and may be a bigger challenge for us. The poultry industry was counting on lower feed prices on the one hand to help profitability, and they were also counting on these higher beef prices to help support poultry demand. And so we know we're going to see those increases. We're looking at about a 4% increase in broiler production next year. We'll export some of that, but we're going to see a significant increase in poultry consumption probably in the U.S. next year. However, I would say that in the last part of 2013 here, we've seen broiler wholesale values weaken somewhat, even in the face of high beef prices. And so that reminds us once again that while these meats are substitutes, they're not perfect substitutes. They don't substitute on a pound for pound basis. And so that's going to be, you know, that's a good thing from a beef perspective in terms of how those competing meats will affect beef demand in 2014.
And I think prime rib sounds pretty good for New Year's Eve.
Sounding good all the time, isn't it?
Okay, Derrell Peel, thanks a lot. We'll see you again soon.